YouTube, how's it going? So just wanted to make a video today that I think is necessary. So a lot of people, when they're using this buy, borrow, die strategy, I don't want to name drop any other channels, but a lot of people are using this strategy to invest in cover call ETFs, such as QQQI, SCHD, or any of these like Neos, Yield Max. I highly discourage people from doing that. The main reason that I don't do that is because I actually attempted to do it and found out that you lose so much growth, and growth is one of the main components to this buy, borrow, die strategy. Leveraging your stock equity over the years to do whatever you want to do as far as live or borrow against yourself to just do whatever you need to do. So I'm gonna just recap my portfolio. I'm at $52,182.23. Right now I have a margin loan out which equals to $865.14, which is 1.66% of my portfolio. I'll talk about the tickers that I have. VTI, I have about 26 shares. VXUS, I have about 90 shares. And VBIL, I have about 400. Well, I have 453 shares. You can see the breakdown as far as the equity I have in each, and they kind of give you a pie right there. So right now, I don't have any deposits coming in. My withdrawable cash, $25,310.41. As you can see, it's right here. This is my available withdrawable cash if I did not have this out. So Robinhood lets you see what you'd be able to pull out total in margin without your margin, without it being used. So I want to go ahead and pull this up. I use Gemini to basically run all of my just questions that I have. So I just want to, make sure people understand what I'm saying. I do not believe in dividend investing. I don't believe in dividend income. That's a personal choice. This is not financial advice. You could do whatever you want to do. I'm just highlighting the difference between someone who does dividend investing versus strictly growth investing. So right now I have some models pulled up for $5,000 a month, which is $60,000 a year. That's actually not a lot if you're going all in. This is under the umbrella that both people would be going all in, whether you're doing the cover call investing or growth investing. So I think $5,000 is doable based on just what I see people are able to do in my personal circle and just from being out in the world. And I'm 29, so I've been quite a few places and worked at quite a few jobs. So I have VTI and VU, which are broad growth ETFs, and I have two of the one SCHD, which is the dividend growth ETF that a lot of content creators make videos about, and I have the QQQI, which a lot, and I mean this is one of the most oversaturated ETFs that I see brought up. And as you can see, VU and VTI have a 10.5% historical CAGR, maximum long-term compound interest. SCHD was around 11 to 12% historical CAGR with a 3.5% dividend yield. And then you got QQQI, which is a high yield option ETF, which is about 13 to 14% distribution yield. But underlying asset experiences total return drag due to capped upside from call options. So I want to make sure that I state these differences for people who are watching. So there are some people who are investing into their stocks to one day live off the dividends. And I'm trying to make sure that we separate this so people understand why it's separate. I don't want to live off dividends. Dividends still get taxed, even if they're qualified, at 10 to 15%. I want to be able to live off the growth of my portfolio tax-free. Those are two different strategies. And I think and a lot of people like to say, well, I'm using margin to purchase more of these dividend paying ETFs. And one of the reasoning is, well, if I'm borrowing at 5% and they're paying 10, I got a 5% positive spread. I think that's just stupid. That's just me personally. I don't invest like that. I use my stock equity to pay bills, and I try to keep it under $1,000, which I can, so I pay 0% interest. I don't want to go into the things that I personally would do with my margin other than that. For the sake of this video, I'm just trying to make sure people understand dividends versus growth and why I choose growth over dividends. So I brought up the $5,000 a month for 10, 20, 30 years. So with VU and VTI, you can see after 10, well, okay, so with VU and VTI, SEHD, and then QQQI, with the expected total returns, after 10 years, QQQI isn't even at $1 million. I think that's crazy. And as you can see, both of these at least are above $1 million. And separation on these becomes insane at 20 years, with broad ETFs being 4 million and QQQI being 2.89 million. After 30 years, it's clear that you want growth over immediate dividends. This person, right, just hypothetically, could borrow 1% against their portfolio and live happily ever after, in my personal opinion. Like 12 million versus 7 million, and I'm paying zero. I'm using my portfolio, right? I'm using my portfolio to live, right? And I don't pay taxes on that. Versus if I was using the dividend, yes, this person will get dividends, but I mean, it's a bonus. It's not the core mechanism to the strategy. So, just want to explain what I'm saying here. So the dividend strategy, right? Dividends are forced taxable distributions. Even qualified dividends trigger a 15 to 20% tax hit every year. On a $100,000 dividend payout, $15,000 to $20,000 is lost to taxes instantly before paying a single bill. Portfolio loans, S blocks, are not taxable income. Drawing $100,000 against a $4 million plus VU portfolio yields $100,000 in spendable cash with zero tax drag. So, I mean, again, I understand that the dividend, like when you see money coming into your account, that it's maybe it's a psychological thing with it, but you're selling your like upside. You're essentially trapping yourself in a ETF in a very specific option style strategy versus pure like stock market growth. I do not see why somebody would want to do that. And someone would say, well, I'm getting close to retirement, I need income. Honestly, I don't want to give advice to what I would do with that, because everyone's income, everyone's expenses is so different that it's hard to really give like an answer, like a blanket answer that would fit anyone's specific situation. I'm not saying that this is correct for everyone. I'm explaining why I don't do it. Could QQQI be good in some select situations? Yes. But would I recommend? No. As you can see, VU compounds at a rate of 10.5% on average. And, right now at Robinhood, you could borrow, this is saying 5.5, but at Robinhood, you could borrow at 5%. And if it's doing that, you'd have a plus 5% spread, and you never have to, you never run the risk of having to sell the ETF because of how the ETF operates, solely off growth and not a selling call option strategy. So that's basically what I wanted to go over today. Next week, or this week, I'm going to do an update on my portfolio once I get paid and show how much I invested and what I'm investing into. But yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to debate me in the comments, feel more, you can go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and just be checking out for my next video. Thank you.